Hello and welcome to Thoughts for Little Time Bombs. My name is Will and you are most welcome, and if you are returning, I'm deeply grateful to you for your continued investment of your valuable time, and if this is your first visit then you are most welcome, and I hope that you will remain intrigued enough to stay until the end and maybe return for future visits, and maybe even have a look at previous videos I've made which more or less explain in greater detail what Thoughts for Little Time Bombs is about. Essentially I just throw ideas at you and they make sense to you or they don't, and some may make sense to you at a future date. It's that simple, and you could choose to ignore them, you could choose to apply them, or choose to sort of amend them according to your own needs. The odds are that you are watching this video because you're intrigued by the title, which I haven't decided on yet, but I think it's to do about wasting time. It's a subject I keep returning to and I will continue to keep returning to, because time is the most vital component in our life. We shouldn't waste it, we shouldn't manage it meanly, we should be very selfish about whom we give our time to. Without having sufficient time in our lives, we cannot love, we cannot dream or work towards achieving our dreams, even better, and even think about making money. None of those are unimportant, they're all vitally important. You have to be in good health. I think being in good health is very important. The link between mental and physical health is well established. Good mental health is good physical health, and good physical health helps enormously with good mental health. It's an attitudinal thing. Okay, so I'm going to be as brief as possible this week because I keep ranting and keep going usually, but I want to talk about obligation as well as valuable use of time. There are a number of obligations, so we'll stick to a few. When somebody close to you, family or friend, is in need, then through friendship, through familial love, then you will feel an obligation to rush to them to help them. Now, I would question the use of obligation in that context, because I don't believe it is obligation. It's what we do. It's led by feelings of need to help other people, and also, you know, to an evolutionary level, it means I help you, you help me at a future date, possibly. That's the safest way of describing that kind of obligation. There is another obligation which I call futile obligation. We get trapped in futile obligation. What that means, it's an obligation placed on us and we adopt. And it does us no good. It just helps others. It doesn't necessarily help us. We've spoken about narcissism and sociopathy in the past, where people take advantage of you. They know how to control us. We don't see it at the beginning, but the further along it goes, then we become very aware that we are being controlled. And we know this is because the sense of coercion and control of our lives is detrimental to our own. And we should be wary of that. So one is not an obligation, and the other one is someone stopping you using your own time, your valuable time to pursue your own dreams while pursuing theirs. It's vitally important to know that you are being coerced. I would suggest you go and see some videos on YouTube by Chase Hughes, who speaks about these matters, and it's valuable information. He's an expert in human behaviour, and you can learn enormous amounts, important amounts that will help you in your own life through doing that. So, in order to move ahead efficiently, that's a good word, efficiently, we need to be able to manage our time. We need to be aware that it is precious. I'm not talking about being paranoid, I'm talking about being near paranoid, in the sense that we need to make sure that we are benefiting from what we do. The other obligation, futile obligation, is that it doesn't matter what we do, we're not gaining, other people are gaining because of our efforts. And there is an abuse of friendship, and it can be abuse of an employer. It happens. The problem when you're in the futile obligation zone is that you're controlled by voices. People help you exaggerate the voices of inadequacy in order to control you. You need to be aware of these voices, and I would advise, advice. I don't like advising, but I would suggest you go and look at a couple of the most recent videos where I talk about the stupid zone. Stupid zone is useful, and it is that. It's choosing not to be aware of certain thoughts, certain voices that are not yours, that belong to other people, that have undermined you in the past. It's learning to work on your own personal dreams, with the force field around yourself, and the blandness where these voices come to you, undermining you, saying you're not good enough. What the hell are you doing this for? You're not going to succeed. These are invariably other people's voices, or voices we've learned from being in situations where we are not allowed to pursue our own objectives, our own dreams. People will take your dreams and smash them and use your energy to pursue their own. So you've got to be careful about that one. Go and have a look at the stupid zone. It's a force field around you when you're working, and habit is incredibly important, because the best behaviours, the best defences we have against people who would control us is awareness. Because once we are aware it's happening, then it is manifest in how we conduct ourselves. And you know it's working, that you are beginning to vary the control of other people by the fact that they will react differently. But every time they react is powerful for you, because it tells you that you are beginning to win. Okay, so no time wasting. And also there is a tendency, I've been here myself, I've told you before, maybe if it's your first visit you haven't heard of this, that there is a tranche of every population where there is a lottery, where people are just sitting on their backsides, drinking tea, too many sugars, not doing exercise, beg your pardon, watching television, doing nothing, because they're waiting for the inevitable to happen. And the inevitable is not death, which is the inevitable, it's they will win the lottery. Whatever it is, form of lottery, they will win it, and they've got a bag of things they're going to do next to them. There's a long list, and it could be between relationships, having objects, having materials, car, house, whatever it is. And all they do is wait. And time being precious means that when they finally realise that nothing's going to happen, they're not going to win the lottery, because the odds, you accept the fact that you're never going to win the lottery. That's the most important thing. By the time they realise this, so much time has passed. And they need to begin from lower than zero to get the energy up to actually wake up and actually do something. Most people who live that sort of life do tend to end up being in a constant depressive state. If you're in that state, go and see a doctor. Okay, I'm not an expert in psychological health, mental health, physical health, or anything. So go and seek advice. If you find yourself in a depressive state, then go and seek help. It's vitally important. So these people are waiting for an intervention. Now, my experience and experience of talking with other people and just viewing life generally, we pick up a lot if we're aware, moving through our daily life, is that the universe, divine, or intervention by the wibbly wobbly, the grand wibbly wobbly, doesn't matter what your beliefs are, you will get no intervention at all. Don't expect any divine intervention, universe intervention, or the wibbly wobbly intervening to help you achieve things. My view is that divine intervention, the universe intervening in your life, and the grand wibbly wobbly being aware of you, is by seeing you work hard. Work hard attracts the attention. If you want to be, light-hearted about it, then hard work attracts good luck, good fortune. How does it do that? Hard work eventually becomes smart work, and you become far more efficient at pursuing what it is you want to pursue, whatever your dream is. It can be physical, it can be mental, learning language, psychological, it can be education, it can be whatever it is that you wish to achieve in your life. And again, brief reference to what I mentioned so many times, the list. It's better to present yourself at the gates of heaven, paradise, or wherever it is you believe in afterlife, with a list of things you've done, rather than a list you haven't done. You don't want to disappoint anybody who believes whatever entity, whatever creature, whatever power, if you believe in such thing, that has given you everything you need to do, everything you need in order to achieve your dreams. More or less everything As I said, the missing thing usually is what we don't know, but we have been given the skill to learn, to pursue, to research what we don't know in order to use it. If we wish to do anything in life, then we must engage. It is that simple. Engagement, focus. And also, this is it, we can have achievable dreams that we, for some daft reason, voices from the past that we believe we can never achieve. Until you begin, you will never know. And I keep saying this, that it's easier to see the route towards where you want to go once you've started. And as I say, hard work becomes smart work. We learn how to learn. We gather experience. We have more knowledge after taking one step than we did before taking a single step. And if you're taking many steps, that means at each step you will have learned something that can be applied for the future. And we learn courage doing that. And this is another thing about the stupid zone, which I love, I have mentioned in the past, is that instead of thinking of the steps to your dream as being enormous and unachievable, you break it down into simple steps. That's it. That's all you need to do. One single step, and it doesn't challenge you, your confidence, your self-esteem, your low self-esteem. It doesn't do any of that. It's a single step. And as I say, after every single step, you become smarter. And it's valuable that you know that. So, and you cannot use the impossibility of a task as an excuse not to do it. I've got this theory that I'm learning things at the moment, and in the past I would have said there's no way I could even understand the language describing what I'm trying to do, and yet slowly, incrementally, I'm doing it. So therefore, the next stage is that easier, because I've now got a template that I'm constantly amending, which is taking me forward. That means making little films, writing and such, and not even learning language, because my vocabulary is growing. Still cultural vandalism as far as my teacher is concerned, I think. So, what other people with voices in our heads have gone out of their way to prove to you is impossible is not impossible. That's their view. And we could be living according to cowardice of people who have long gone. That they lack the courage to do it, so the last thing they want is for somebody to go and prove it is possible. So you should engage with it. So you should engage with impossible things. Set yourself one impossible objective, whatever that is, and take gentle steps towards it. And it's the stupid zone again, because all you're doing is taking the step. That's all you're focusing on. You know where you want to get to, but first of all you need to take a step, and each step is taken without wishing to do damage to yourself, and not being a fuel to those voices in your head that the stupid zone will eventually get rid of it anyway. Go and have a look at it. Just go and have a look. A couple of videos back. Yeah, and the impossible things that we believe in life may not be impossible. It's most likely they're not impossible. It's just that we believe they're impossible. Obligation, just quickly turn to that one. I'm going to be brief, as I say. We can, as a means of escaping responsibility to ourselves, find ourselves being obligated to do things. Being a martyr, pretending to be martyric in giving our lives to everybody else, which is good. People do, and it's vital they do. I'm not talking about vocation now. I'm talking about an escape from responsibility to self. So rather than engage with the process of pursuing your own dreams, because the voices are telling you you're not adequate, not big enough, not smart enough, etc., you drown yourself in responsibility to others. I don't think that's the right thing to do. If you are doing these things, there's a tendency for many people will think you're a mug, a fool. Other people will be grateful for the work you do. But when you go home at night, it's like, let's say you go out for the evening with company you've always gone out with. I mentioned this again, videos back. And you go out because of sheer habit. It's a Friday night, you go out, a couple of drinks, and then you go home. How do you feel after that? You've been obligated to go out because you always go out with your mates. Is there any joy in it? Is there any joy whatsoever? Do you feel satisfied at the end of the day? Or do you just go home at night, sit down after being with your mates, and feel empty. That's not what I want to do. I want to do other things. I want to do greater things than sit in a pub and watch the people around me who I've known since childhood just grow older, greyer, fatter and more boring, because it's usually the same conversations. So if you go home after fulfilling obligations, martyrdom I call it, in specific context obviously. You know, people do wonderful things and I love them for it and I support them. But we can become martyrs to avoid responsibility to ourselves. And if you go home and you feel empty, then you should do something about it, because it means that you are not living your life to your best advantage. And you may be helping others live their lives of low expectation to their satisfaction. So you've got to make sure that you are pursuing your own dreams, taking step-by-step action towards achieving things you want to do. You do not have to be brave, you just have to be determined. At the beginning you have to be disciplined, but only at the beginning. Discipline is what you need to begin a habit of doing new things in your life. Once you have done the thing that is new in your life more than 20 times, you don't need any discipline, because it is now a free running. It is now a perpetually running machine, running on its own energy. And you've already, by even achieving that, you have taken giant steps. Okay, I've got a line here which is, futile hope is better than no hope at all. We can be trapped by the psychology of other people who wish to control us, that we feel we have very, very little autonomy about how we live our own lives. If you feel that you're going to work and you don't want to go to work, and maybe some people have had panic attacks in the past, being in work or even getting to work, and even staying up late in order to avoid the thought of going to bed and then realising morning's going to come quicker and I'm going to end up going to work and it'll be bad for my mental state, then you need a sense of hope. And I'm of the view that a futile hope is better than no hope at all. And to quote Special Forces, while you're alive, you've got a chance. So think on doing things, physically doing things, or improving your education, doing whatever it takes, and taking steps that move you forward and move away from any obligation that is damaging to you, that leaves you empty when you get home at night and sit down thinking there has to be more. Most other people don't think like that. You've come to this video because the title intrigued you, and maybe there may well be something in here for you. So don't waste time, manage it well. It is the most precious thing in your life. Nothing else can happen without it. Nothing else can happen without it. So you need to focus, concentrate, manage, engage with things you want to do before it's too late. And as the Stoic says, you will die, your life will come to an end, and all you ever hoped for, all you ever had, will come to an end. You need to have a list of things that you've always wanted to do, that you've done. Get it ready. Turn up with a list of things you've done. Get in the right queue. At the gates of heaven, gates of paradise, wherever it is, the afterlife, if you believe in such a thing. Have a list of things you've done that have satisfied you in life, that have strengthened your sense of obligation to yourself while not diminishing responsibility to other people you cared about. Take simple steps. As I say, you don't need courage, you just need a bit of discipline at the beginning. Courage is we create an obstacle when we think that we need to have courage and discipline. As I say, discipline is only needed to begin a new habit. Habit will run on its own after a while. And courage, it means we're creating an obstacle for ourselves. And as I said earlier, just by taking simple individual steps in through using the stupid zone, which is you choose to be ignorant of so courage and discipline. Discipline is what you need at the beginning, just to get the ball rolling. Once the ball's rolling and you're committed to something, then you will not need to discipline yourself every morning or whenever it is that you set time aside for working to achieve your dream. Courage is an interesting one because we create an obstacle thinking we're not courageous enough, and therefore you've just built a brick wall between you and what you want to achieve. Whereas courage should be viewed in long term. In other words, we're just taking one step. We're not doing anything enormous. We're not taking gigantic steps that may fail. What we're doing is taking gentle steps. And as I say, once we're on the route, we can see where to go. And through sheer practice of having got to a certain point, we can continue. So, obligation is to yourself, above all. Your obligation has to be for yourself, because you need to be the best person for you. Thereby, anybody who's important to you will benefit. So don't waste time. Be mean with who you give your time to outside of the people you love. Be wary of the word obligation. Don't martyr yourself in a false belief that you are actually doing good, especially when you sit down at the end of the evening and you know, my life is empty. So fill yourself full of dreams and then go and pursue them. Take care. I hope that was briefer than usual. Take care. Good luck to you. Bye-bye.